in this area. Well, first of all, it can't cross the x-axis because I don't have an x-intercept up there. So I'm going to have to draw that right down here. Oh, shoot. It's going to be right here. That's where my graph is going to be. When it's less than 3, it's going to be down below.
It doesn't touch them.
It doesn't touch. Those are asymptotes. Let's pick a number between -3 and -2. -2.5. -2.5 plus 3 is positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. -2.5 plus 2? Negative. -2.5 minus 1?
Negative.
Positive times negative is negative times negative is
Positive.
positive. That tells me that between these two, this asymptote and this x-intercept, that my graph is going to be positive. It's going to be above the x-axis, and so it is going to look something like that, right there. A number between -2 and 1.
Negative 1.
-1. -1 plus 3.
Positive.
Positive. -1 plus 2.
Positive.
-1 minus 1. Negative. A positive times a positive is a positive times a negative is a negative. So between these 2 points, my graph is negative, which means it's going to go below the x-axis. So it's going to come on down and then back up because it's got to touch that point right there. Greater than 1.
2.
2. 2 plus 3 is positive. 2 plus 2 is?
Positive.
2 minus 1 is?
Positive.
Positive times positive times positive?
Positive.
Positive. It's going to go above the x-axis, and that finishes off my graph. Questions? What's my domain? How far left, how far right is my graph going to go? All the way except where? -3. It's not going to touch -3. As an inequality, what would I write? X is less than -3 or? X is greater than -3. Set notation.
Braces. X such that x does not equal -3.
Okay, X such that X does not equal -3. Interval notation.
Infinity.
-infinity, -3. Union. Positive infinity. And we're not even going to do the range when we have a slant asymptote. Any questions on that one? Okay, we're going to move right along page 500, your turn, number 6. All right, what do we know about a horizontal asymptote? This is a 1, and this is a 2. It's equal to 0. There's your horizontal asymptote right there. Y equals 0. What am I going to do to find out if it has a hole in the graph or a vertical asymptote? What do I need to do next? Factor the bottom. So when I factor the bottom, that will give me what?
X plus 4, x minus 1.
Okay, x plus 4, x minus 1. If you need to put that in a box, you need to put it in a box. Let's look at, do we have the same factor on the top in the numerator as we do in the denominator? No. So I'm not going to have a hole in the graph. I'm going to have vertical asymptotes. How many asymptotes will I have vertical? 2. What are they? X equals negative 4 and x equals positive 1 because I set those equal to 0. What about an x-intercept? Do I have one? What? X equals negative 1. So a lot of information that I should know before I start graphing it all. Horizontal asymptote at 0. So you draw your dotted line across at 0. Vertical asymptote at negative 4. Vertical asymptote at 1. And an x-intercept at negative 1. Right there. So when I draw my table, I'm going to use x plus 1, x plus 4, x minus 1, and then my final sign. Let's look at our graphs. What intervals am I going to use?
X is less than negative 4.
Okay, that's the first one. X is less than negative 4. Then what interval?
Negative 4 is less than x is less than negative 1.
Okay, negative 4 is less than x is less than negative 1. But in between here, this vertical asymptote and that x-intercept, now what am I using?
Negative 1 is less than x is less than 1.
Okay, negative 1 is less than x is less than 1. And then what?
X is greater than 1.
X is greater than 1. Pick a number less than 4.
Negative 5.
Negative 5. Is it positive when you add 1 or
No.
negative?
Negative.
Negative. Negative 5 plus 4? Negative. Negative 5 minus 1?
Negative.
Negative times negative is positive times negative is
Negative.
negative. It's going to be graphed down here below the x-axis. Pick a number between negative 4 and negative 1.
Negative 3.
Negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1. Negative. Negative 2 plus 4.
Positive.
Negative 2 minus 1.
Negative.
Negative times positive is negative. Times negative is positive. It's going to go up here and hit that point right there. Interval between negative 1 and positive 1. We need to know, does it go down or does it go back up? Pick a number between negative 1 and positive 1.
0.
0. 0 plus 1?
Positive.
Positive. 0 plus 4?
Positive.
Positive. 0 minus 1?
Negative.
Positive times positive is positive times negative is negative. That means it comes down this way. Number greater than 1.
2.
2. 2 plus 1 is
Positive.
positive. 2 plus 4 is
Positive.
positive. 2 minus 1 is
Positive.
positive. Positive times positive times positive is positive it's up above the x-axis.
Is it always going to be symmetrical like that?
No.
Okay.
Any questions on the table? What's my domain? Okay, domain is x is less than -4. Domain, inequalities, what we're looking for first. X is less than -4 or x is greater than 1 or what about that middle part? -4 is less than x is less than 1. You can't leave that out. Set notation. How do I write it in set notation? Braces x such that x does not equal -4. Okay, x does not equal 1. Interval notation. Very good. Negative infinity, -4, union -4 to 1, union 1 to positive infinity. Any questions? What about the range? What about the range?
Y is less than 0. Or
It's actually equal to right there.
all real numbers.
All real numbers, very good. The range covers all the way down to negative infinity and all the way up to positive infinity. So how would you write that real quick as an inequality? We haven't done all real numbers in a while. How would I write it as an inequality with a greater than, less than in it?
Negative infinity is less than positive infinity.
Almost.
Yeah.
Negative infinity is less than y is less than positive infinity. Very good. How would I write it in set notation?
Y such that
Y such that y is all real numbers. And in interval notation,
Negative infinity. Positive.
negative infinity to positive infinity. Very good. Any questions? Anybody?
And the answers that you're looking for is range.
I'm looking for domain, range, the table, the horizontal, vertical asymptotes, the x-intercepts, and the graph.